of all, I want to thank you because you responded so fast. And we have been corresponding for a few months, I think 2 months. And finally, we could meet. This is very special. And I would like to say that it's an honor for us to be able to have an interview with you. And thank you for taking your precious time for SineFilozofi Journal. You have many followers and fans in Turkey. We hope it will be a bilateral conversation for them as well. Looking at your filmography, we see that you have many productions that will be talked about at length. And this is really impressive. Of course, they're all important works, but I think Phoenix, Undine, Transit, Barbara, Ghosts are the forefronts as controversial films. I want to start with the movie Undine, which also raises similar question marks in me while watching it, and I believe it would be the same for the followers of the journal. We are watching a fairy tale narrative of mythology in a contemporary life, and such dilemmas make us questioning throughout the movie. On one hand, the vital symbol of water, and on the other hand, that's due to the indifferability of which is questioning the bond between life and death. This is very special, and this is very controversial, I think. The movie has a really strong narrative. The film's perspective on the concept of love is also unusual, which is not so familiar with in other narrative films, actually. For a moment, the film seems disconnected from the real world, but for a moment, we see that it takes place in Berlin in the present day. And these transitions are really impressive, but did you ever, during the pre-production period, did you ever find it risky to reach the audience or any risk in narration, because it's a unique job?
It's very hard for me to describe for the people who will give me the money, yeah? what my plans are. Yeah? For example, at Transit, the same problem to describe that there is a story from 1941 in a contemporary Marseille. They don't understand it. They didn't understand it. Yeah? They think it was a science fiction thing of people who are from other times with a machine come back to Marseille or something like that. This is so I have to be an intellectual to describe it. Huh? So I can't play a dumb boy. I have to play I have to be intellectual. And in Undine it was like this for me. You know. There was one book I have read 10 years before I have written down the script. It was a book by a German female writer, Austrian female writer, Ingeborg Bachmann, and she had taken the myth of Undine in a new narration, in a new story. Yeah? You know, this myth of Undine is a very old one, and it's based in the romantic times of European history. Yeah? You know, in the romantic times, it's a reaction to the industrialization of the world. Yeah? You know, the industrialization of the world, the work in factories, all the destruction of nature, and so on. And there is a romantic reaction, and so they want to find. They want to re-enchant the world, yeah? Which is totally destroyed by industrialization, and so many German, especially German myths and stories are in reaction, and they make nature as the paradise, nature as something where the truth is, and so on. And always naked women are in the center of these these movements. Yeah, and Undine is one of these naked women. Yeah, they're always male subjects. Yeah, and they have problems especially in the myth of Undine. The problem is there is a man who had fallen in love with a woman, and the woman doesn't love the man, and so the man getting depressed, and because he's so totally depressed, he wants to make suicide, and he goes into a small lake in the forest, and in this lake there's the nymph Undine, naked, beautiful, and he is shouting out her name. He's crying out her name, and she comes out of the water naked, and she says to him, I'm yours, and for all times, and you can do everything with me what you want. Yeah, it's a male dream, a male subject dream, and but if you will betray me sometimes, I have to kill you, and I have to go back into the water and waiting for the next man. Yeah? And this is the myth, and it's always like this. This guy is a little bit ugly. This guy is not intellectual, but now he has a fantastic, beautiful young woman on his side, yeah? Like Undine. And when he goes back into his society, everybody says, "My God, he could be that he's a really interesting character and intellectual and so on, or intelligent." And so the original woman he was in love with, this original woman is interested in him, and she wants to sleep with him and wants to marry him. And so Undine will be betrayed and had to kill them. And in this German myth, there's one, this is not a very intelligent myth by Fouquet, but it's so, there's a very fantastic poetry sentence in this night when this guy has his wedding night with a woman. Yeah? She is going naked, surrounded by a bubble of water. She's going naked into this room where they have her wedding night, and she takes him into the bubble, and so he is he drowned there and is dying there inside of this bubble, and then the bubble is falling down and everything's wet on the floor and the dead body of the guy, and then some servants are coming into the room, and she's shouting, she's crying, and she said, my tears killed him. Yeah. And so this is a fantastic sentence. In German, it's much better than in English, and especially in my English. And so I like this myth, because it's complicated. So, and then I have read this book by Ingeborg Bachmann with the title Undine geht. That means Undine is leaving. Yeah, and this is the first story written from the perspective of Undine, and not out of the perspective of the male subject. And this was, for me, was interesting because my whole work, I'm always thought about I love all the movies, but Haroon Farocki and we always think about how we can change the perspective a little bit. If we could change the perspective of Vertigo by Hitchcock and use the perspective of Kim Novak, for example. And what is happening then to the story when we change the perspective, when you change the position of the narrator? And so Ingeborg Bachmann made this, and I followed her. Mm-hmm. This was an answer, a long answer. I'm sorry for poor English and long answers. It's always the same.
It's a very nice answer. Thank you.
I want to continue from this question. It can be related to your answer. Real and fantastic elements are intertwined with each other in your movies, and as you said, this is more evident in some of your films, Undine and Transit, for example. But on the other hand, realistic elements are more dominant in your other films, such as Barbara and Jerichow. I like these movies very much. On the other hand, we feel that even though your films are a kind of, unreal, full of unreal elements, nevertheless, characters, relations, places are some kind of in connection with the real elements. Reality and unreality is side by side. And I am surprised, actually, when I see this kind of movies. And actually, I liked it. Christian Petzold seems to be making a special effort to turn fairy tales and unreal elements into realistic dimensions. I would like to know what your standpoint is about your reality.
1895, cinema was invented. Yeah? And on the same year, the psychoanalysis was found by Sigmund Freud. For me, both things had to do with each other. Yeah? And for me, yesterday I have made a walk with a friend, and we are talking about Pulp Fiction of Tarantino. Yeah? And there is one sequence when Bruce Willis is missing his watch. Yeah? And he has to go back into the apartment to grab his watch, and he knows it's dangerous because the killers are waiting perhaps there for him. Yeah? And this passage, yeah, from his motel to the apartment, yeah, is so realistic, like the neorealism in Italy, yeah, in the 40s and 50s. You see, it's not beautiful. Yeah? All the other things in Pulp Fiction are very beautiful. Yeah, the fantastic light. It's the Los Angeles light. It's fantastic places where they can dance, or fantastic bars. Yeah? All is great. But this sequence, this passage, it's so important because it's so realistic, and I love it to have the dream pictures and the realistic pictures side by side, because it's not a contradiction. They have to be in the same room. Yeah? For example, when you see the neorealistic movies by Rossellini, for example, and you see Stromboli with Ingrid Bergman, for me, Stromboli, it's like Hollywood. Yeah, the sand, the poor houses of the fishermen, yeah? The atmosphere, because everybody is staring at Ingrid Bergman behind the windows. Yeah, she's very lonely. It's like a Jerichow painting. Yeah, so you have in the neorealistic movies, you have fantasy, dreamlike rooms, and in this Hollywood dream movies, you have neorealistic structures, and these, for me, it's very, very important to have both in one place and not separated. Yeah? I don't like, for example, I can't see so many of this Netflix and Amazon Prime productions because they make a decision to have to stay realistic, or you have to be in a dreamland. You have to be Marvel, or you have to make an independent avant-garde movie. But both had to be in the same room. I think so. From the beginning of cinema, yeah, you have Lumière. Yeah, workers are leaving the factory. It's the first movie made, but it's not. Then he's not showing the work. He's showing the beginning of the end of the work, and now the workers are leaving the factory and cinema starts. It's something to do with this. You have to have both the factory and the cinema in the same, I think, in the same picture. Well, it's an answer. I hope so.
It is very good answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, in your films, what I can observe is the past, identity, and memory are combining each other. And especially, I would like to ask your relation on the pre-production period with the actors and actresses, because it seems that you create a special bond, special connection with them. this is why these concepts are narrated so professionally, because I think the actors and actresses need to understand correctly what you mean by your film. This is really a question mark for me for in that period. What's special? What's this special relationship? How you connect them?
I thought, because I never was an assistant to a director. Yeah? Never in my whole life. I studied at the German Film Academy in Berlin, but I make shorts and I have no. I was never a rookie or something in a big production. Never. Yeah? So I missed this a little bit. So I have to invent everything by myself. I don't know how to speak with actors. I don't know how to speak with DOPs or so. I don't know this. I have to learn it. I have to learn it by books. I must say I have learned most of my life. I have learned by books. I must say, and so I have made something for when I'm writing a script. Yeah, a project, a script, a treatment, and so on. I was surrounded by books and photos, graphic novels, music, other movies. Yeah, so it's not coming out of my head. It's a montage of many things. Yeah, and when I met, for example, the actors the first time, I think it's 3 months before we are shooting. Yeah. I make a seminar for 3 days in a special room, with a beamer, and so on. And in this seminar, I'm not talking about the project and talking about their characters. I just show them what I have made in the last year. Well, I showed them all the graphic novels. I played them music. We are watching movies together, yeah? And I'm talking and talking and talking, a little bit too much sometimes, yeah? And I'm talking, and so after, the actors can leave the seminar after 3 days. They left the seminar, and so this is like all what I have done are tools for them. They can work with this, but it's not they can work by themselves, and then. 2 weeks before shooting, I ordered, I rent a bus, and the actors and me, we are driving to all the shooting places, and to the shooting places before all these people, all the stuff are destroying the shooting places with their trailers, their buses, their light, and so on. And for example, when we had made Marseille in transit, the actors and we are in Marseille, and we are walking through Marseille, and we are looking at all the ruins the Germans had left there in their time of the Nazi occupation. We are thinking about the corruption of the Social Democratic Party of France, what they have done there. We are thinking about the new harbor, the old harbor, the story of the refugees. Yeah, so we are in the real city of Marseille, and then they go back to their home, and they have the script. And so when they are reading the script, they have the impressions of Marseille. They have the tools I've given them some months before, and so they can work by themselves. I never say to an actor and actress, I need more tears, or please cry, or So we are talking about rhythms, and so on. But everything they have to create by themselves, based on our voyage to the shooting places, based on the tools I have given them on our desk during the seminar. Yeah, this is the work I've done, and so I'm always shooting with the same actors. I'm shooting with the same cast, the stuff and DOPs, and so because we are all in this seminar room a little bit. It's like a small factory. Yeah. I think Nuri Bilge Ceylan is doing the same. My soundman who's making the sound, Andreas Mücke, he's always also the sound man of Nuri Bilge Ceylan. Yeah? And so I think it's a little bit like what he's doing, but I think I'm more democratic, I must say. It's my education. My parents are social democrats, and it's deep in my heart.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, maybe I can continue from this democratic answer. Because your films offer both aesthetic and intellectual pleasure. I mean, everybody can watch your movies. Everybody is able to watch your movies because there is a story, and the story is flowing on itself. And this is very important, I think, significant part of the movie. But on the other hand, like us, we are intellectual people, and we are able to watch your movies, and we find lots of thinking, thought, like deep ethical questions. So I think you are combining the images in a different way, and genres are mixed with each other. We cannot say that this movie is pure modern cinema or pure classical cinema. It is like combination of them.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Or is it because of your democratic perspective about life?
I think it's some. For me, when I was 16, I read the book, the interview of François Truffaut and Alfred Hitchcock. I was 16. I was not an intellectual. Yeah? I was on a lycée, yeah? but I'm not an intellectual. I was 16. I want to be a pop star or a football player or something like that. Yeah? And I read this book, and for me, it was very interesting because I know all these movies they're talking about, Psycho, The Birds, because I've seen them in television. Yeah? But I never had the name Hitchcock. I remember that he's very famous or so, but it was not his style. Yeah, so. And in this moment, when I read this interview and this long interview between Truffaut and Hitchcock, I saw two intellectual people, yeah, and I saw they're talking about skills and about philosophy and about to be anxious and to be innocent in a world, yeah, of power, yeah, and to be alone in the world and to be outside of society and all these things which are very, very intellectual. On the other hand, everybody knows this, and for me, it's not. It was never a contradiction. I'm so sad about the separation of cinema, that we have a cinema of students, yeah, and the cinema of mainstream. I don't like this. And my mother, when she told me about her time when she was very young and she went to a cinema 3-4 times a week, she knows Ingmar Bergman, François Truffaut, Jean-Luc Godard, but she's a working class woman, yeah. So it was not a problem for her, yeah. She loved Jean-Paul Belmondo because of À bout de souffle, yeah. It's an avant-garde movie, yeah. So this, I think separation, yeah, is destroying culture, yeah. So. For me, it's not that I want to do it. I want to go back to a world without separation. When I'm thinking about a story, I think also that all stories are crime stories a little bit, yeah, because you see people who do something which is not. Which send them out of, for example, of the society, who makes them lonely. Yeah? a man is betraying his wife, and he has to leave the family. Yeah? He's alone. Yeah? So this is a little. It's a crime of morality. Someone is stealing money in the factory he's working. Yeah? Someone is gay. Yeah? And he's not part of it. All these in this moment, the stories start. Yeah? The story in cinema starts. All stories are about animals or people or women and men and children who are a little bit at the outside. Yeah? And in this moment, everybody who's on the outside is portraying the inside, says something about our society, is political in this same moment without saying anything about politics.
Mm-hmm.
My English is oh God, I'm sorry. Yeah? I hope you understand
it's
it.
very fluent. And by the way, we will send you the text for the before it's published, so that you can add or delete some parts or change if you want. So
I trust you totally. I trust you totally.
Yeah. Okay. I want to continue with a very general question. Because I know that your followers and the fans also are very curious about that, the creation process, how the idea comes and how it is being formulated in your mind, and how it becomes at the end a Christian Petzold movie. What are the stages? What's your working method?
The most thing starts with 1 or 2 sentences. It's never a novel. Sometimes it's a kind of short story, yeah? But sometimes it's just a picture. I remember when I have started to write Wolfsburg, yeah? It was so that our daughter was infected and she had to go into a hospital. She was very hard infection, yeah, of brain, yeah, something with this little, in Germany, Zecken, yeah, it's the word is the Zecken. Mm-hmm. And so we have to stay there in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, yeah, the parents and our daughter. And in this time, I have to walk through the hospital because it's 24 hours there, nothing to do, waiting, a little bit of fear. Yeah. So, and there I saw a woman on a automat for coffee. Yeah. She takes 2 coins into this automat and this coffee machine. And then the cup is coming down and the water of the coffee is running into the cup. And in this moment, she turned herself, it goes to a window and looks outside. And you can see on the window that she's crying because it was getting wet there. Yeah? And then she ran away. And I know something bad happened for someone she knows, or for example, she's the patient, I don't know. And another man is coming and saw the cup of coffee, which is in the automat, and take it. Yeah? Because it's free now. He wants to drink it by himself. Yeah? And this woman came back, yeah? And she had cried, yeah? Very hard. She cried and she said in very aggressive way, "This is my coffee." And she forget her sadness in this moment because she's fighting for her coffee. This was the thing I have seen. Yeah? And then I thought about what she had done, and what's her profession, what is her fate, yeah? And I thought about the man too, and so I have written down the first treatment of Wolfsburg as something. So, and then the second thing is, when I'm thinking about these characters, protagonists, I think you have always two. Harun Farocki and we have written down some sentences which are very important for us. And one sentence is, you have always to tell 2 stories. Yeah? Yeah? We have in Wolfsburg the story of guiltiness, and you have another story, and the other story is he is from the working class. Yeah? And now he's a salesman. He was blue collar, and now he's white collar. Yeah? So he's not he is a parvenu. He wants to be. He wants to live in a house. He has married a rich woman. He wants to be part of the rich people, yeah, a society. So, but he's from the working class. His identity is not confirmed, yeah, but he thinks so. And in this moment, he kills this young boy, and he sees the mother. The mother is from the working class. It's his class, yeah. And so when he wants to fall in love with her, to give her a better life, yeah, he's always fighting for his class, yeah, where he's coming from, yeah. It's not only a question of morality, yeah, because he had killed the son, and he wants to pay something back for his immortal life. It's also something to do with this fundament of his story, that he's a betrayer of his working class story. Yeah? So both things have to do. It's not part of the dialogue. Yeah? It's about part of the atmosphere. Yeah?
Okay, I see.
Yeah. I think, yeah, there are lots of dilemmas in your movies, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you made a movie, it is not your movie as well. It is our movie, mm-hmm. because we are living in Turkey, you are living in Germany, but nevertheless, these kind of movies are beyond cultural dimensions. It is our part, and I think we call it generic humanity. We are talking about differences, people, but I believe that in our age, we have to talk about the similarities between people. And this kind of humanity, generic humanity, is universal. It crosses the cultural boundaries. And your movies show us this kind of humanity. And I think Christian Petzold is in search of this kind of humanity. What kind of path do you follow while transferring this kind of generic humanity to your films? I am curious about listening to you.
For me, cinema is it's the best art in the world, I must say. Yeah? But I'll give you another example, not because that we are talking between Germany and Turkey, but Nuri Bilge Ceylan's movies are very important for me. Yeah? And there is a scene in the last movie I've seen from him. It's a scene, this young writer, yeah, who has to go back into the town in the Köln, where he is, and he makes a walk, and he saw women on a field working, yeah? And one of the women is coming to him, and they are under a tree, and she wants to have a cigarette, yeah? And then the camera is going into the tree, and you see the wind, yeah? So, and you feel that both are in love, but it's not possible because he was gone away, and she had to marry someone else. But this 3-minute moment, yeah, of the cigarette and the looks and the wind and the tree, yeah, and the movement of the tree, it's fantastic. Yeah? It's a fantastic moment. So, and there is a German romantic, very famous lyric, Hölderlin, yeah? And Hölderlin had written down a script of the lyric, a poem of the winds of the south who are coming to Germany. Yeah? And for me, it was a little bit like this. Yeah? The winds of the south. There is a desire of Hölderlin and the Germans, a desire of love and warm and fantastic colors and another anti-Protestant life. Yeah. So. And so this wind in this scene from Nuri Bilge Ceylan is coming also to Germany through the cinema, at this moment. So everybody's understanding the scene, but this scene is not international. In the same moment, it's region. It's just there in Turkey nowadays. Yeah? A woman with a I don't know the word in English, Kopftuch in German. I don't know her hair is not open. Yeah, and she's smoking, and she had to hide herself during the smoke. Yeah, you see so many things, which is something to do with Turkey today, but in the same moment, it's everybody in the world is understanding the scene, and it's like a fantastic song, yeah, a pop song in this moment. And this is for me cinema. Yeah, it's not, it's part of this example, part of Turkey and part of the whole world in the same moment. So cinema had to be. Yeah? But on the other hand, also I think that Tom Cruise in this my names are gone because of English. Tom Cruise, for example, as a doctor in Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, it's a dream-like New York there. I always have the feeling that they made it in London in a studio. Yeah, but it's Tom Cruise. It's an American. But his feeling of to be strange in the world is something everybody in the world could understand. And he's also a little bit like my character in Wolfsburg. He's also a parvenu. He's someone who's in the society of the rich people, but he's not really part of it. They don't like him. Yeah. So this is an interesting thing. I think we can talk about Kubrick sometimes, that all his characters are parvenus. Barry Lyndon is not really part. The writer in Shining, Jack Nicholson, he's not a good writer. Yeah, he's not part of the society. They don't like him really. They've used him. Yeah. So like Tom Cruise, this is interesting. But the answer to your question is that I think it has to be. It has to be a scene had to be for itself and for the world in the same moment when it's great. Yeah?
Eda, do you have any question? I can continue.
You can continue. I think.
Okay. And the most difficult question for you, I think, because crystal image. I am making joke. open images. You know, there are lots of images in the movies, and one kind of image is open image, because while we are watching movies, sometimes we are asking lots of questions while watching and after the film, like Abbas Kiarostami, you know, and these images, I think, are a very significant part of the modern cinema because, it makes us hesitant while watching and after the film. And for example, at the end of the transit, we cannot make a decision about whether the woman is alive or not. Maybe he is dead, she is dead, but I am not sure. In Undine, was she a mermaid from the start? Why did George return to his family instead of living with the mermaid Mary? By his own will, at Maria's request? I am curious as to your thoughts on these open images, and these images leave the audience hesitant. Is it because of your cinema approach or aesthetic approach? What kind of things can lead you to produce this kind of images?
So sometimes when I'm not sometimes, always when I'm talking with the DOP Hans Fromm, we are always thinking about if this picture we want to shoot, this picture, is this picture a look, Is there someone looking to something? Is there something inside of the picture, a subject? Or is this picture just like as if there's theater and we make a picture to memorize the scene? Yeah, like a documentary or so. Yeah, a documentary tries not to have to be a look. They want to be objective. And so we can say, is it subjective or it's objective? For me, I was a little bit, always a little bit bored about this alternative. Yeah? For me, it's so that in all movies, in all these 10,000 movies I love, yeah? So at the end, I have always the feeling that the things we see in the cinema, they don't need us. They don't need us anymore. They are for themselves. Yeah. For example, when Charlie Chaplin is leaving in the last shoot, the last picture, he's going down the street together with the girl. Yeah. They don't need us anymore. They are for themselves. Yeah. So, and we have to leave now, and so they are independent. Yeah. And this is a fantastic feeling. Yeah, that they don't need us anymore, so we are not responsible anymore, but we can think about. Or for example, the end of The Searchers by John Ford, or the end of Antonioni's 1962. Yeah? The world for itself, it works. It doesn't need the human beings anymore. It works by themselves. So I like to have this feeling at the end of the movie. And when in transit, he's turning himself to the door because the doorbell rings, yeah, and he sees something, but the counter shot is not there, yeah? So it's his world. Yeah? It was an idea I've stolen from The Sopranos, I must say. At the end of my favorite serial are The Sopranos. Yeah? I love them so much. At the end, when the family of the Sopranos are sitting in the diners, yeah, someone is opening the door, all are staring to the door, but the counter shot is black. Yeah? And so, now from this moment on, they are living in their world. Yeah. So it's they're watching to something what we can't see anymore. So, and then the narration is over and we have to live on by ourselves like them. Yeah, and this is something I like. It's a morality question, but I think it's a cineastic morality thing. What I feel there.
Can I please add something here, because I find the ending of Transit very, very impressive. The sound is very surprising when the film is over, because we are expecting such a music which is slow or more romantic, something like that, but we are facing something opposite.
Yeah.
And this is very impressive, I believe, and this supports what you have told a minute ago. This is very important, I believe, and I find it very, very attractive. Professor Öztürk, you can go on. I think you have more questions.
But I can say something to this. The producers, they didn't like this idea. Yeah, they said we haven't written down a score. Yeah, we have to use the score. It's a very melancholical. It's good to have a melancholic. When I was young, I have to go to the church with my parents, and my parents are Protestants. Protestant churches are not based on pictures; they are based on music. Yeah, Johann Sebastian Bach. Yeah, so it's the most important composer for the Protestant church. I hate to go to the churches, I must say. I hate it. But there's one moment which I like very much. It's the end. Yeah, it's the end of the session. Yeah, and at the end there is music, and the doors of the churches are opened. Yeah, and so you go outside in reality with music. And this is a fantastic Protestant moment. This is very important for the Protestant church. Yeah? And I think cinema has something a little bit to do with churches, not with religion, also with religion too, but to, you know, when the credits are coming, in all movies I know, the credits and the music are together and the doors open of the cinema. Yeah? What is happening in this moment? What kind of music is what kind of music is the corridor back into life? Yeah? And for me, this song by Talking Heads, yeah, in Transit, it's something as if David Byrne, the singer of Talking Heads, yeah, he knows something about Marseille 1941. He knows everything from a road to nowhere, about people who are young and they want to live on, but the road they're on is a road to nowhere. Yeah, it's a very sad song, but it's like a gospel and
yes,
it's a good
exactly.
Yeah. So there are two power strings in the song. In one song, it's very sad and it's also danceable. Yeah. And so this I like very much. And the beginning, because it's a gospel, yeah, the chorus is a gospel, and the gospel is church. Yeah. And therefore I said I need it. In Barbara, for example, we have also a song by Chick. Yeah. Yeah. And also the producer says it has nothing to do with German Democratic Republic. Yeah. And I said it's the same year, 1980. Yeah. The same song, same year. In the USA, they destroyed the records of the band Chick because Chick is black, yeah, and homosexual, yeah, as gay, yeah. And the white people they don't like this music, yeah. But the song, the singers are singing about that we need the freedom, but it's a lonely, bad way. Yeah, after you have freedom, you are very lonely because the institutions are not there anymore. No family, yeah, no religion, no party. Yeah, so freedom. It's not fun. Freedom is hurting you, yeah, but you need it. And this I like very much on this song. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Christian, you are full of energy, and I think you are addicted to living in this life. You are optimistic person. You are an optimistic person about the things, relations, characters, life. You seem. But on the other hand, I have a question. You know, there are some directors who wants to make movie to cope with some problems. They have some problems, like Ingmar Bergman. You know, he made a movie, Seventh Seal, both to face with the death and go away from the fear of death. And I'm just curious about to know whether or not your emotional feelings. Can you describe yourself optimistic person, or pessimistic person? Because in your movies, you know, there is some kind of hope. The movie starts with some problems, but over time, the characters are transforming themselves when they encounter with something, some characters, some relations. In Barbara, for example, Barbara seems very unhappy person, but after a while, when she encounters with a guy, a doctor, and when she sees the mundane life, ordinary small things, she starts to smile. I believe that this smile is an exception. It is a kind of hope for the emergent culture. What is your viewpoint about life? I would like to know it.
Yeah, you know, I'm always interested in people who are living behind walls, who don't want to fall in love, because to fall in love is you can lose the control. Yeah? And if you lose the control, they have made the experience that if you lose the control, you are going to nirvana or to jail or something like that. Yeah. So so I like that Barbara. She's living in a country she wants to leave. Yeah. She's out. She's like a fundamentalist. She said this communistic thing is shit. I have to leave here. I'm not opening myself. I'm behind a wall of my own. Yeah? And then the movie is about that this wall is there are holes in this wall. Yeah, she doesn't want to fall in love. She doesn't want to feel. She doesn't want to have empathetic feelings. Yeah, but it starts. Yeah, and this fight is interesting. Cinema is always about producing. Yeah, I'm not. Nobody's interesting is someone when a movie starts, and at the beginning you see two people who are really happy. Yeah, the audience said, "I'm not interested in you." Yeah, why? Yeah, and what are you doing there? You're kissing. You have a fantastic life. In good movies where you have a happy family or a happy couple at the beginning is horror movies, because the movies not after they destroy them, yeah, their happiness. But what people wants to see is the production, yeah, and not a reproduction. They want to see the production of love, the production of crime, the production, yeah, the production of falling, open yourself. And you can see 90 minutes or 100 minutes of Barbara who's fighting against the feeling and the love, because love is to be weak. Yeah. So, and she thinks that she has to be strong, and so she for her experience, love is weak. And you see her fighting, and this is interesting to see the fight, the production, and not in advertisement. You see happy families and so on. You're not interesting. They want to sell you something, but Barbara don't want to sell something. We have to watch her. Yeah, and there is not capitalistic structure between audience and protagonists. Yeah? They don't want to sell something, and we are not consumers. Yeah? We have to watch, and we have to make experience, and we have to see. Yeah? This is, I think, it's in English. It's okay. It's like a hotshot. I'm talking. Yeah.
I think your answer is very good. There is no problem. And my last question is this. Actually, I am borrowing this term from Gilles Deleuze's books. But these terms, these concepts are very in line with your movies, interestingly. We see some kinds of different perceptions in your movies: solid perception and liquid perception. And solid perception is about the land movies, land. But in Undine, you made a liquid perception, a water movie. And waters and, earth and fire could be discussed in the philosophy as well. And I think in 2023, because I have searched, you will finish your gases perception, meaning fire movie. These concepts are related to philosophy, I wonder the motivation sources of this project: land, water, and probably fire. Gases, fire.
Okay, to make trilogies, 3 movies of one, it's something to do when you are in a city. Yeah, you see the architecture of some museums. They have this fantastic architecture, but they're unicates. They're for themselves. It's a fantastic architect, fantastic building. Yeah. So, but for me, cinema is not this. It's not to make the museum. Yeah. It's to make a street or a quarter or a part. Yeah. And so when I'm thinking about trilogies, I'm thinking about many houses. yeah, with neighborhoods. Yeah? And so I have a better feeling. For me, cinema is city, and it's not a solo place there, which I can't stand this kind of architecture. I love architectures who find there is a ruined street and they recreate something in the street. Yeah, for this I like more than people who are architects who went to Dubai or Qatar and they're building their house in the desert. This I don't like. This is not cinema. Yeah? And so it's impressive, yeah, this building, but you can't live in this. The cinemas, you know, when you see the old cinemas in the 40s and the 50s and 60s in the USA, in France or Turkey, yeah, they are in the middle of a city. Yeah, they are part of social life. I think there are two cinemas, and in Erdem there's one cinema. It's inside of a mall. Yeah, it's not a real cinema in the fourth floor of a mall with where all the McDonald's and this shit is. Yeah? And so for me, cities are living when there are cinemas and theaters and libraries are in the center. Yeah, it have to be. Yeah? And so when they are not there in the center anymore, when you have in the center just Vodafone and something is dying. Yeah. So so for me also the movies, and this thinking of trilogies is something to be part of a city and part of cinemas in the city. It's a feeling like this for me. Yeah.
Christian, it is very philosophical answer. Thank you very much. Really, I appreciate your answer.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, thank you a lot. Thank you very much. It was really
Christian,
great pleasure.
have a nice day. Thank you very much for
you too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.